Hello everyone, I'm from E2STEM Education and my name is Sorya Soy. And this is the topic that I'm gonna teach you about the passive to describe process. So what is passive voice and how to use passive to describe process in the sentence? So this is our learning objective, or using the structure of passive voice, know how to use passive to describe process and make your own sentence. And our success criteria are how to use passive voice, make your own sentence at least 2 to 4 by using passive voice and passive to describe process. And the last one is very important. You can apply it in daily life. So this is content that I will talk about passive voice and passive to describe process and their structure, and give example and explain about passive voice and passive to describe process. So first I will talk about passive voice. The passive voice is used to show interest in the person or object that experiences an action rather than the person or object that performs the action. So do you see the picture on the left? It shows a phrase that the professor teaches the students, or the students are taught by the professor. So these two phrases mean the same thing. So passive voice tells us what is done to someone or something. So the structure of passive voice is object plus verb plus subject. And the verb to be plus past participle, verb past participle. So example, the house was painted by Anna. So was painted, it calls past participle. Or the students' questions are answered by the teacher. So or plus answered is past participle. And the last one is the windows had been broken. So had been broken is past participle. So I will explain you about passive voice. So example about active voice first. So Alex wrote an essay about his grandfather's Alzheimer's. So Alex calls doer of action or subject, wrote calls action or verb, and after that call receiver of action or object. But passive voice, it difference. We use receiver of action first. So like an essay about Alzheimer's was written by Alex. So by Alex it calls doer of action. It's behind action. So active voice, it talks about what subject does. And the passive focus on the action. So example, the active is Ram killed Ravan. So passive, Ravan was killed by Ram. So Ravan was killed by Ram, it talks about the receiver of action. But active, it talks about the doer of the action. We can use the passive voice to describe process in which the action is more important than the person performing it. So I will explain and give example to you about passive to describe process. So you already know about passive voice. Passive form of passive voice is object plus verb to be plus past participle plus subject. But passive voice to describe process, it's not important what is doing the action, when we use it to describe being a process. So example, the building is designed. So only have the receiver and verb to be and past participle. So this is the tense and the another examples and the form of passive voice. So you should remember the form of passive voice to describe process only have object plus verb to be plus past participle. You can read and learn more about tense of past participle informative. So this is our exercises. Number 1, this safe hasn't been opened for 20 years. So number 2, so I will correct only 2 sentences to you. So number 2, English blah 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 speak all over the world. So all over the world we should put English, we should put present simple plus past participle. So English is spoken all over the world. And number 4, originally the book blah 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 write in Spanish a few years ago. So a few years ago, so we should put past simple plus past participle. So originally the book was written in Spanish a few years ago. Thank you everyone for watching this video.